The Honourable Trevor Khan.
Madam President, my question without notice is to the Treasurer. Minister, are you aware that the then Acting Minister for Health, John Hatzisteros, said in an answer to a question on notice at budget estimates that in relation to the Tamworth Hospital, it was, and I quote, anticipated that both the service procurement plan and the project development plan documentation will be completed and endorsed by the second quarter of 2010, and it is anticipated that works can start in the first quarter of 2011. Is it the case, Minister, that in October 2008 the cost for the redevelopment of Tamworth Hospital was $330 million? Minister, is there money specifically allocated in the 2010-2011 year for the construction of Tamworth Hospital? Minister, can you advise the House what will be the completion date of the Tamworth Hospital redevelopment?
Good luck.
Well, Madam President, I hold the member in the utmost respect. He's a very pleasant person and charming. However, as much as I'd like to hand you over a copy of the budget that we're in the process of preparing, I think that it may be a bit premature, and you might have to wait until June when we actually will bring the budget down, because I think you'll find the budget will be particularly illuminating in terms of a number of issues. And particularly, I think, in terms of the increase you'll see there in various areas. But I don't want to preempt any of that. But what I will say while I have the opportunity standing before the House is that, of course, the New South Wales Government does have a record health budget of over $15.1 billion. That, of course, is a record. Never in the history of this state has so much money been invested into health, and there was an increase in the 2008-9 health budget about $1.3 billion, plus an additional increase of $603 million into health infrastructure. Certainly, we have been investing literally millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, into the health system. Now, the budget, of course, includes funding to deliver the government's response to the Garling report, which is, of course, Caring Together, New South Wales Health Action Plan. And this response is $485 million over 4 years, containing health initiatives which will lead to improvements in patient care and safety. So our record on health funding, and supporting the health agencies in this state is absolutely outstanding, and shows our commitment to delivering health to the people of New South Wales. But at the same time, we welcome the renewed interest with the Rudd Labor government into reforming health in the future, something we did not see in the previous coalition government headed up by Howard Costello and, of course, Abbott. So we're actually quite pleased. And, you know, it's a bit like Pavlov's dog. You say Abbott and they rear up and pay attention, even though they're embarrassed by the cuts to health funding, but they sat there silently. I remember how silent they were as the health system was being denied valuable federal funding. They sat there silent, dumbfounded by the stupidity of their coalition government. And now they argue up and think a few cheap comments across the chamber will cover up Abbott's complicity in cutting funding to the health system in this state. Well, it won't work. The voters will see through this. Because we're used to seeing dirty tactics from that side of the house. We're used to seeing dirty tactics. Can I just say, Madam President, on that issue, I am deeply shocked by the report in today's Daily Telegraph. Deeply shocked by the report in Daily Telegraph. And I want to say to Barry O'Farrell, that I regret reading that story in today's Telegraph, because I do see Barry in the gym sometimes in the mornings, and we have a pleasant exchange between us because he's a very pleasant person. But I'm disgusted that there are people on this side of the House, and I know whose name was in the article. And as they say in the movies, round up the usual suspects. Because over on that side of the House, there are a couple of people that are distinguishing themselves.
For heaven's sake, Madam President, the point of order is relevance. The question was in relation to Tamworth Hospital, and we have ventured so far away from Tamworth Hospital as to be in sort of fantasy land with the Treasurer. I ask that you bring him back to the clear tenor of the question.
In ruling on the point of order, I'd ask the Treasurer to be generally relevant.
Thank you, Madam President.